I'm going to tie a popper for pike now. Now this takes it's in 2 stages. I'm going to make a popper head, and then it has to dry, but I have one made from earlier to show you the process. I'm going to tie it on a tube here, so I have maybe 8 or 10 centimeters of 6mm tubing. I'm going to flame the end of that to create a lip. In fact, I'm going to set it on fire and hold it upright. Blow it out and allow that to cool itself down a bit. And then ram that on. Now, I'm going to make the popper. I'm going to use this, which is called tubular crin, which is essentially a very large mylar piping, and this one must be maybe 18 or 19 mil across. It has like a cord in it, which I'm going to pull out. And then I'm going to tie on my thread. I'm going to attach the crin, as it's called, but I'm not going to tie it up to the eye. I'm leaving about 5 mil or so here because I need to be able to bind down on that again. I'm going to make a 2-tone head. Now what I'm using here it's like a heavy foam, but it's I think they're actually kids' bath toys. You can find them in a variety of shops. You get a whole selection. Of colours and letters. Reds, blues, yellows, greens, orange, whatever. And I'm cutting off like a triangle shape with that. Now I want to take a little gully out of the centre of it on one side, so I'm folding it, and then on the opposite side I'm going to trim this down to create a taper, and I'm going to create a similar one out of orange. Don't worry how neat it is. Again, fold that, take a trim out of there, and basically this is just to accommodate the tube. Now, what I'm going to do is attach that on the top. Put a turn just to hold it in place. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to attach the green, but I'm going to put a slice up there to get it deeper into it. Put that onto the same point. Now, I'm going to wrap backwards. As you can see, I'm creating a sort of cone shape. And the thread itself, being white, bites into this. Now, it doesn't look overly neat at the minute, but it's only to keep the shape. The epoxy will actually soak into that and take up its colour. Now I'm going to fold this back over itself. What I actually need to do is finish that off. turn that over itself inside out. I'm going to take my tie-in silk and again tie that down there. We have a nice sort of carrot shape. And take a couple of loose wraps up to the front. That's why I left 5mm or so here. And I'm going to fold my crin back again over itself. Now there's 2 layers of it. I'm going to slide it slightly back on itself. And again I'll tie that off. Now I've slidden that up to here. This is it totally sort of pushed forward. So I'm going to push it back on itself again so it's loose. Then take my tie-in thread, put on a loose wrap, and I need this to catch down on the lip that I left, and put in a few turns and then finish that off. I'm going to cut that off tight to the lip and take a lighter and just burn back the loose ends. I'm going to add a little bit of super glue to the tie-in. Now this was folded back so it's loose, so what I'll do is I'll now fold that forward, and as you can see it is now created like a cone. So essentially now we have the popper shape. So I'm going to take 2mm or 2-minute epoxy. I'm going to mix the 2 components together. I'm stirring the 2 together with the little spatula thing that was provided, and now I'm going to just dab this onto my popper. It's runny, so it's going to go through the crin, so you should see it start to become more translucent as it's going through it, and then it'll transmit the colours of the foam from underneath. What I'm going to do here is put on a couple of green eyes because of the colour combo of the green and yellow, or the green and orange, sorry. So I'm going to set those on. Or you set them up to yourself. Some people like them at the front, some people like them way back here. I'm going to take some more of that epoxy and put it over the Okay. I need to make a bit more. This is a messy job, so don't do it over your best carpet. I also want to get a bit on the inside of this popper head. That's a 2-minute epoxy, so it'll set itself off pretty fast, but what you need to do is keep it rotating until it starts to set itself. And keep everything smooth, because otherwise what it'll do, if you watch it, it'll set like this, a big glob. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put it onto one of these, which is a Stonefly rotating dryer. It's for epoxy nymphs and stuff like that, but it'll do this job pretty well. So I need to, because of the thickness of the center of my tubing, I'm going to need to put this, which is a skewer, down it, and then another one just to fix it in position, and then I'm going to stick that into the dryer, and the dryer will then rotate that until it dries. So you can see that'll rotate now. Now, because that'll take 2 minutes to set, but then it takes it a few hours to actually dry. I made one earlier, so I'll stick that on and add on our tying thread. So the idea of a popper is to make a lot of commotion, so we might as well put a rattle in it as well. There's a bit of shrink tubing, and this is a little glass rattle with a couple of beads in it. And I'm going to slide that down so that it's just a couple of mil beyond the end of the shrink tubing, and then flame that and that will seal it within the shrink tube. So now add then in at the back of our fly, wrap down to the shrink tubing and put a few turns around it and then come forward. And then I want to soak that in super glue to secure it. Now, core of the tail, I'm going to use pearl crystal here. Get a big bunch of that and pull it out. Place it on slightly beyond its middle, so that when that tapers back, it'll create a taper rather than a block end. Fold it back on itself. I'm going to create a tinsel body like I did before, so I'm going to get spools of mylar tinsel. I'm going to use a a green holographic and a gold holographic here. I'll set the both of them on the floor, and I will take the ends of them and wrap them round and round and round my hand. I'll end up with a loop. So I take my scissors and I cut the middle of the loop. I'll then end up with a mixed bunch of green and gold. I'll pull a few fibres through just to create a taper. And same as before, I'm going to tie it on, but not across its middle. And then fold those back on themselves. Add a little bit of super glue. So, I'm going to take a Chartreuse grizzle cape and take a few of the biggest feathers out of the back end of it. A feather has a curve, so what I'm actually going to do is reverse the curve so that they're sticking outwards, and that will create even more movement and disturbance on the surface of the water. So I've put a couple of them laying out that way, one on top and another one down below. Now, I'm going to use a little bit of sparkly dubbing here. I'm going to put that onto my thread and take the super glue in the tie-in points there, and then I'm going to wrap that sparkly dubbing into the wet super glue. Now again, to create more bulk, I'm going to use bucktail. This is a Chartreuse bucktail. I'm going to take a bunch out of that. I'm going to lay that on, splay it around the shank of the tube, put on a loose turn, and then pull it tight. As you can see, that will splay out, and just wrap randomly through the flared base of that to hold it in position. Now, I have a smaller cape, which again is a Chartreuse grizzle. I'm going to take a few feathers off that and do the same as what we did before. Tie them in with the reverse curve so they stick out. One on the bottom. Now, to finish this off, I'm going to use a bit of orange fox. I'll take a good bunch of that, separate it out, and cut it off down near the tips. Right near the butt. Strip out some of the fluff. And then I'm going to tie that in reverse. another bunch, and repeat that. Super glue and run it all around that tie-in. I'll put on a few hat hitches just to finish the fly down. There. I'm going to take an orange pro marker and I'm just going to run that round the tie-in thread there just to colour it in. Over do that with the super glue. And there you have a popper. You can fish that on the surface, or I suppose you could also fish it on a sinking line, and then it'll give you a sort of undulating action in the water as you draw down.